Two sisters, inseparable, brilliant, and mysterious. They lived in silence, speaking only to each other, in a secret language no one else could understand. Their story is both heartbreaking and unforgettable. This is the true story of June and Jennifer Gibbons, known as the Silent Twins. A bond so strong, it defied family, doctors, and even society itself. But behind their quiet world was tragedy, resilience, and a chilling decision that changed everything. June and Jennifer Gibbons were born in April 1963 to Caribbean parents who had recently moved to the small town of Haverfordwest, Wales. As the only black children in their community, they stood out, and from the very beginning, they seemed different. The girls rarely spoke to others. At home, their parents noticed something peculiar. June and Jennifer whispered constantly, but only to each other. They had invented a secret language, one that no one else could understand. It was more than sibling closeness. It was as if they had built their own world and locked everyone else out. As the years passed, their silence deepened. By the age of 10, they stopped talking to anyone else entirely. Teachers couldn't reach them. Doctors couldn't diagnose them. Even when they were separated, they would become catatonic, completely unresponsive, until they were reunited. To outsiders, it looked eerie, but to them, it was survival. Behind closed doors, however, June and Jennifer lived extraordinary inner lives. They filled diaries with stories, plays, and novels. They built elaborate imaginary worlds with cities, characters, and dramas. They were creative, imaginative, and passionate about writing. June even managed to publish a novel called Pepsi Cola Addict. But their writings also revealed a darker side, tales of crime, obsession, and death. Publishers rejected most of their manuscripts, and the twins became frustrated. Their creativity turned destructive. They began acting out their fantasies, setting fires, committing petty crimes, and letting their inner world bleed dangerously into reality. At just 19 years old, they were arrested for arson and vandalism. The court declared them a danger to society and sent them not to prison, but to Broadmoor Hospital, a high-security psychiatric institution notorious for housing violent criminals. For June and Jennifer, it was a living nightmare. Locked away among strangers, they sank deeper into silence. Doctors believed their bond was unhealthy and tried to separate them, but whenever they were apart, both collapsed into catatonia, refusing to eat, speak, or move. The sisters' diaries from this period reveal the truth of their torment. They loved each other fiercely, but their relationship had grown twisted with jealousy and rivalry. Jennifer once wrote, "We have become fatal enemies in each other's eyes. We feel the same. One of us has to go." For over a decade, the twins remained at Broadmoor, trapped in a cycle of silence and dependence. Then, in 1993, doctors finally arranged for them to be moved to a lower security clinic. The sisters should have been overjoyed, but Jennifer seemed strangely calm, even resigned. She told June, "I'm going to have to die." On the day of their transfer, as the twins rode together on the bus, Jennifer laid her head on June's shoulder and whispered, "At last we're free." Minutes later, she collapsed. By the time they arrived at the new hospital, Jennifer was unresponsive. Doctors rushed to save her, but it was too late. At just 29 years old, Jennifer Gibbons was dead. The official cause was acute myocarditis, a sudden inflammation of the heart. No drugs, no poison, no clear explanation. Some believe it was natural. Others whisper it was the ultimate act of sacrifice. According to June, the twins had made a pact. Jennifer would give her life so that June could finally be free. After Jennifer's death, something extraordinary happened. June began to speak, openly, for the first time in her life. She gave interviews, worked, and rejoined society. Her silence was broken, but the cost had been unimaginably high. She once said, "We were trapped. The day Jennifer died, I felt free. But I also felt that part of me had died with her." The story of the Silent Twins spread across the world, inspiring books, documentaries, and plays. Some see it as a tragedy of misunderstood mental health. Others view it as proof of the unbreakable, mysterious power of human connection. To June, it is simply the story of two sisters, inseparable, bound by love, and torn apart by destiny. Today, June lives quietly, away from the spotlight. But the legacy of the Silent Twins endures. Their story reminds us that human bonds can be both prisons and lifelines. It calls us to look at difference with compassion, to understand mental health more deeply, and to remember that behind silence, there is always a voice longing to be heard. June and Jennifer Gibbons will always be remembered not just as the silent twins, but as two souls who shared an unbreakable bond, one that continues to echo long after their silence was broken.
Thanks for watching. Please subscribe for more real tales.